glasses. Don't ask me any questions, but I have to read, guys. Questions?
Been around this game a long time. How excited do you get over an opening game of the season?
Well, it's like anything else, whether you're an athlete or a coach, you just get very excited to see how your team's going to perform. I know the players get very excited. I'm not like the players in this regard. I wish we had 2 more weeks preparation, and they can't wait to play. But it's time to get going. I pushed this team very hard to be ready for the first game. I haven't done that in years past. It's taken us sometimes to January to start to gel. But this team, I've stuck with certain things I want to see done, and they've done a good job. We had 2 exhibition games that really didn't help us because the guys were so small. Now, development helped us in this regard. It allowed our big guys to really have to check quicker and smaller guys on the perimeter, and they did a fabulous job of doing that, even though we let them shoot a too high a percentage in the second half. But it also taught me that my guards didn't do a good job of rebounding, because when we went into that scouting-wise, we said the guards are going to have to be just as important as the bigs in terms of rebounding. And Kevin, Wayne, Peyton, and Russ all kept running to the rim instead of creating space from a rebounding standpoint. So we got a lot out of the Bellman game in that regard, and we're ready to go.
You talked about Manhattan, you kind of joked about Manhattan being kind of an annoying team, I guess, to play this to start off with. I mean, what's the
I said that.
Well, not that word.
Oh. I want to make sure I'm quoted right.
But you use words I can't really repeat. What is it about them that kind of concerns?
They're going to play exactly like we play in terms of defensive pressure, and a lot of the offensive sets will be the same. The problem with them is they are a very good, like something. I never use the phrase mid-major. I don't like it because it's insulting to teams like Butler and Manhattan who have it going, and I think they're major programs, and it takes time to get it going, and they have it going right now. They have 4 starters back. They have a young man a 2-guard that could probably start for any team in the Big East. So they're a formidable opponent to play this early in the season, but we'll be ready, and I know so will they.
Is pesky maybe a word to describe them in a sense, defensively?
They're just like us. Their calls will be the same. They'll have a black-white 22 press, and they'll trap a lot. They'll play zone. They'll play man. They'll change up.
So what the job that he has done in a year at that program?
He's done an excellent job. He was overqualified to be a head coach. He was ready to be a head coach, and he gets his guys to play hard. He's a very emotional guy, and he'll do a very good job there.
Did you watch them a lot last year?
Every chance I could.
Yeah.
I went in person for one game. Happened to lose that game, but it was a home game. I felt bad, but I have seen them play.
Is it some of the same personnel as last year? Do you have?
Well, they have 4 or 5 starters back.
Right. Yeah. So do you feel like you have a good sense of them since you?
Oh yeah, I've got a good feel for how they play. Yep.
Rick, do you prefer a schedule that has early tests to kind of get your team used to tough games?
This year I do, not last year. Last year I didn't feel we were going to be ready early on. I think we'll be ready early on this year.
Of kind of your assistants that have gone on to head coaching, how similar is Steve, I guess, to your coaching style and the way you came up?
From a technical standpoint, very close, as close as anybody out there, from a technical standpoint.
What is it, I guess?
He's different personally than I am. He's very high-strung, and I'm low-key.
And Shane will be back, and what do you expect to see from him?
Turnovers. Shane's a very talented young man, and when he steps on the floor, he's a threat at all phases of the game. So he's a very talented young man, and I expect, he's behind everybody a little bit, not in terms of conditioning, not in terms of his ability. He's behind in terms of where a lot of players live in the gym. He didn't. So, but he'll be fine. He's ready to play.
that's something you've been kind of saying is how he didn't live in the gym. Has he taken that in these last 2 weeks and been in there maybe more than he was before?
You know, Shane's a tough, and it's not just Shane. I changed it a few years ago and gone to instead of poor, passion-hungry and driven people. You know, in order to be passionate about anything, your industry, my industry, whatever it may be, you have to have great focus to be passionate. If without focus you can't be passionate. Focus means you know how to take care of business, which is for a basketball player, being in the gym or being in a weight room, or you have to be extremely focused. And a lot of players lose focus in the summertime, and they celebrate, they relax, they have a great time, and they live the age of an 18, 19-year-old, you know, which is normal. But then there are some people very focused and very hungry and very driven, like Peyton Siva, who do the opposite. So, you know, I think half of my team, I would say, have a PhD, and the other half, you know, get it during basketball season.
Peyton seemed down, frustrated maybe is the right word, after this last exhibition. Did you catch that at all, or do you any idea what maybe that was?
That's something I've never heard. I've never seen Peyton Siva down. He played very well in that game. He got a tongue lashing from me on one time out about not getting these guys playing the right type of defense, and he didn't do a single thing wrong. But I wanted him to know that he's responsible for those things on the court, but he responds very well to everything. So he played a very good game. So I didn't witness that at all.
Maybe not down, just frustrated.
Did you major in psychology?
No, he just seemed like he was frustrated with maybe how the team played, or.
I think it's very tough to play against Bellarmine.
Yeah.
You know, we did some good. You know, we were 19 for 25 on the break, which was very good. You know, and obviously, you know, the crowd thought that we were shooting the three very well. And they gave us a nice ovation when we finally made one. But, you know, we made 1 3 last year, the Bellarmine game, if you remember. You know, I think we were 1 for 19 last year. 20?
1 for 13 last year, 1 for 19.
Yeah, so we only made 1 last year. So it's pretty much the same team.
What have these 2 exhibition games revealed to you? I mean, now that you've had a chance to kind of look back on everything.
You know, it really wasn't revealing at all. Because Pikeville just had a rash of injuries right before we played them. They lost all their size. And Bellarmine is great to play for because we love the school, we love Scotty, we love everything about it, but it's not a good preparation because they have no post-up game. They didn't have one post-up play the entire game. Have you ever seen that in college basketball? You know, they have 5 guys that move, go on the perimeter, they pass, they shoot well, but you're not going to see that from the type of schedule we play. But in terms of man-to-man defense and how we have to guard people, it was very good for us. Very good for Gorky. You know, Gorky's, one of the impressive things about the game is Gorky had to go out in the perimeter, stay out of foul trouble for 30-some-odd minutes and move his feet, and that's very helpful. So it wasn't revealing, though, in terms of what we can do, what we can't do.
Being from the Northeast, I'm sure you know everything with the storms and all that. I know Manhattan, they couldn't even practice in their own gym, I don't think. Do you know kind of what they've gone through, and just being from that area, you know, the strength of that area and coming back after disaster, kind of like that?
I would venture to say that he's been running our stuff since October 15th. And remember now, we have 80% of the same plays, 100% of the same defenses, so preparation is not a major concern. Now, as far as Sandy's concerned, it's devastating to the people of New Jersey and New York. You know, I still have a brother-in-law that doesn't have electricity, you know, and it's been a long time. So it's been a devastating storm.
You have a lot of kids from that area. Has anyone else been affected on your team?
We don't have a lot. We have a few, but you know, Russ's dad, I spoke with him. He's okay. He has electricity. So, you know, I think most of the people on our team are okay.
Talk about your zone offense. I assume you're going to see. Do you expect to see a lot of zones?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. It's the same as last year. We probably don't have as good a shooter as Kyle Keurig, especially from the left side of the court. But you know, as I told you before, it's not a strength. But you have to understand, Luke Hancock's going to be a very good shooter. It takes him 20 minutes before he can shoot a basketball in terms of getting his arm loose and all that he has to go through. He's coming off double shoulder surgery as well. You know, he had one 2 years ago when he came in here, and I had another one. He's probably 6 weeks earlier in terms of stepping on the basketball than most people with that. But he's an extremely tough kid. Fred said when he puts him through these painful things, he said, just push it, Fred. He wanted to get on the court. So he's going to be a very good shooter, but you know, it's going to take him probably 6 more weeks before you see the real Luke Hancock in terms of shooting the basketball. And in that regard, I think we'll have a replacement for Kyle Keurig. So we will see a lot of zones. You know, it takes Peyton Seaver from doing a lot of his good things.
So what's the key for you offensively? If you don't have that knockdown shooter, you're going to see his own whip.
Well, we saw zones last year.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, there are 4 elements of good zone offense. Okay, there's good ball movement, there's good play movement, there's getting the ball to the inside, and there's dribble penetration. And the 5th, which is true of every offense, is offensive rebounding. You know, so we'll do those things well.
You talk about 18, 19-year-olds and that focus. Just from watching him play and talking to him afterwards, Montrez seems to have everything that you're looking for in terms of that focus. Do you see that as well?
He's a very serious young man.
Yeah.
You know, very serious young man. Plays real hard, very respectful. A great group of guys to coach. You know, I've been really, really lucky the past 3 years. Great group. And then we got additions like Mango, who, God, he's sent down from heaven as far as his personality is concerned. He's just the greatest kid. I've got professors emailing me, texting, telling me, boy, keep recruiting guys like this. What a wonderful young man. And it's indicative of this basketball team. They're just great guys. He's very serious about his game, and he may be the antithesis of Shane. You know, he's very passionate and focused in that regard. Now, Shane, when he steps on the court, there's no harder worker on the basketball court. Really, so I want to give him his credit there. He just took a little sabbatical and he's back.
There's been so much talk about outside shooting. I think we saw the other night,
Gorgie.
Well, you get asked about it all the time, it seems like, but Gorgie's shots at the free throw line, that was something that wasn't as accurate as maybe we saw now. How can that open up a zone defense and stuff like that, his range?
You're right that Gorgie has become a very good 15-foot shooter. And, you know, it's the main key for us in shooting department is, like, we shot 47% for the game and going 1 for 20 for the 3, is not to make the 3 a big deal for us. You know, take 12 to 15 a game, but don't make it a big deal. So, you know what our opponents are going to do is they're going to entice us to shoot it, and that's okay. You just don't want to come down on the break and shoot it. You just don't want to make one pass and shoot it. You know, give your players a chance to get in position to rebound the basketball and let them know what they're doing, and then our length comes into play.
You said Montrez is kind of the antithesis of Shane in terms of how serious he takes things. Is that something, even though he's a freshman, Shane's a sophomore, you'd like to see him maybe rub off on Shane a little bit? I know they go up against one another.
I don't. Look, I think you're taking this wrong with Shane. Shane is no different than Russ, no different than Kevin Ware, Wayne Blackshear, Zach Price. They're all in that category. Yeah. All of them. So don't be pinning this on Shane. Yeah. I know it's easy to do because he didn't play 2 games, but that had nothing to do with his passion for basketball. So they're all the same, except there are others like Peyton and like that are very passionate all year about their trade. You know, if you can get 12 guys like that, it's great. In season, you get 12 guys like that. Out of season, you just don't always get that. You know, there's a big difference between Kobe and Shaq. I mean, Shaq liked to celebrate in the off-season a little bit and take it easy, and Kobe wanted to kickbox and do whatever it would take to bring his game at the highest level.
There's always a few games a year where it's you going up against a former assistant, and we talk about that storyline. Was there ever a time where you were the assistant going up against a former coach that meant a lot that first time?
I had the misfortune of coaching too young. You know, I was a head coach at 24, actually, including Hawaii. That Kenny forgot I was actually 21. But I'm trying to think I think I did at Boston University play Syracuse and Jim Boeheim, I think, for a long time. But I was so young as a head coach. And I had to.
So there's no battles with Hubie, I mean, in the NBA or?
No, Hubie was, I went to Providence and then Hubie left coaching, I believe.
Yeah. How is it, did it take a little while to get adjusted to trying to, how do you use guys? Do you have something in your mind going into the game, or is it just a matter of games?
Joey, I think that's the greatest misconception in sports. Is now there was a team that went to 2005, we only had 7 players, we were banged up, everybody was injured. But every single team has depth. It's if you choose to use it or not. You know, everybody has 13 scholarships. And most schools, like 95% of the time, have everybody on scholarship. Some schools like to save 1 for a transfer. But every university has depth. It's just whether you choose to use it or not. I mean, you'll find that teams, you know, Some coaches just feel very comfortable playing 7 people. Other coaches feel comfortable playing 10. But every school has depth unless you have a rash of injuries. So that's a misconception.
At this point, how many guys are you confident that you can use?
Well, a week ago, I was confident in about 6 or 7. Now, with Shane back, I'm confident. You know, yesterday was the first time I saw a great practice from Angel and Zach. First time this year. And that was good. Yeah, I've seen them have some good practices, some average practice, but yesterday was the first time I saw a great practice. So, to answer your question, I'm not afraid of putting Tim Henderson. He's our 13th man. I'm very confident in going to Tim Henderson at a crucial point in the game. So, that's just the way we practice, and I've got great confidence in all our guys.
It would appear, qualify my statement, that you have 2 really good players at one position in Shane and Montrez. How versatile are they to gather more time moving around?
Well, your appearance is right, but we also have 2 really good ones, 3 really good ones at the 3,
Yeah.
2 really good ones at the 2, maybe 3, 2 really good ones at the point, and less than, you know, the only guy I think just is much better, and he wasn't yesterday, is Gorky, in terms of Gorky Zach. But, you know, there's very little difference between Peyton and Russ, very little difference between, on a given day, between Russ and Kevin, very little. You know, Luke is probably better than everybody right now because of the same situation that Wayne Blackshear is not back. He's just not. What makes you wonder about that is he has a stellar performance in the NCAA against Kentucky, and he made some great plays, and he's back. Well, everybody can, under the influence of emotion, can play great minutes or have a great half, but he's not physically back to where he needs to be. And just think of how, you know, you're in a sling for 2 months, then you can just do this for another 2 months, and you can't raise your arm for another 2 months, and then you start working on it, and then you blow out your other one. So you've been inactive for like 18 months. That's a long time. Your timing's off, your game's off, your toughness is off. You know, should I go after, should I draw the charge? He was a big-time charge guy. Anybody come down the middle, he would draw 2 or 3 a game. He was a big-time shot blocker at 6'5". I haven't seen him do any of those things. He drew a charge the other night for the first time. But, you know, it's just going to take some time. Time heals those wounds, and he'll be the Wayne Blackshear again. It's just that we don't have to rush him and make him feel bad right now.
You talked about assist turnover as a something you focus on for your team. What about defensively? What sort of statistics do you look at for the other team that lets you know you're playing?
Well, we want a low field goal percentage by the other team, both from the 3-point line as well as the field. We want a defensive rebound, something we didn't do the other night, but it wasn't. It was on 2 points. It was Russ Smith and Kevin. You know, Peyton, Kevin, and Wayne didn't block out. Russ was snowball, cherry picking right down the other end on every possession. He was looking to get that out. We showed him on the film so he would realize what he did wrong there. And I kept saying as I stopped, you know, we would lose Russ completely. It looked like we were playing with 4 defensive players. And we never, in that frame, could find Russ. And I kept joking around, please, does anybody know where Russ is on this? Russ, can you point it out on the film where exactly you are? And he said, yeah, I can do that. I'm at the other foul line a little bit. So we got a good laugh out of that. So, you know, statistically speaking, field goal defense from the 3-point line as well as the field. We want a defensive rebound because we are a good break team. You know, we took away probably 7 opportunities. We just blocked out half of that time because long rebounds do come off and the guards have to rebound the ball.
6th in the country last year in field goal percentage defense. I mean, can this team be that good?
Well, we'll be a different type of defensive team. We didn't give up very many easy shots to Belmont the other night. They did shoot 36 in the second half, which we weren't happy about. Not that 36 is a high percentage. It's not. We would lead the nation. It's because they kept getting a rebound on missed shots. You know, so play great defense and not come up with the rebound is phenomenal. So can we do it? It's all conjecture until we step on the court and do it. We confused people last year. We're not going to confuse anybody this year.
Because they've seen it before? Is that?
Well, I'm not sure we're going to play that type of defense.
Gotcha.
We've been working very hard on the 1-3-1 that we haven't done in years, and I want to see how it works tomorrow.
A lot of coaches that coach young teams can say it's not about wins or losses at the beginning of the year, it's about learning. Sometimes with an experienced team, you expect
Who said that?
Just an example down the road. with a more veteran team, I feel like sometimes they expect wins right away. Is there still a learning process though with the team, even though you have so many guys back?
You know, look, you want to win and you want to learn your lessons through victory. You don't want to learn your lessons through defeat. But sometimes if you're not ready and you're not good enough, you're going to be defeated. It's as simple as that. But you know, we always want to learn our lessons in victory. But you know, sometimes you can't control it. It may have to come from defeat. But you know, last year we could have lost very easily to Vanderbilt, Charleston. We won a lot of close games last year, and this year we have to be ready for come Sunday. We have to be ready, and then we'll concentrate on the next opponent, and then we go to the Battle of Atlantis after 3 games, I believe, and so we must be ready. And you know, we got a lot of great things going on, and we want to make sure we don't kill the party right now. You know, we got an undefeated football team. I'm taking 2 really talented recruits to the women's game tonight. I mean, for women recruits, girl recruits to the game tonight, and you know, I hope they like what they see.
Anything else for Coach? One more.
Yeah, one more. I apologize. Last year you had, you know, the zone the zone defense. You'd switch to man to man.
You in a rush to go somewhere or something?
No, sorry. that switch up D. You had that D and you'd switch it up, and then he said, you know, and you're going to change it up. Is there something about you that gets a rush of working, and this worked, but I'm going to retool everything in the off season and try and mess with people again?
You know, I think I'm a basketball junkie. I'm a guy that likes to stay up all night long and strategize, and say, man, I really like that. I always tell the coaches, when you watch something that you really like from another team, you have to steal, copy. It's part of our society today when you see excellence. But if you see something, you have to make it better. You have to break it and make it better. And I love doing that. You know, I love doing that. And you have to be a junkie to make things better, because your defense now, and the way you play it, really has to fit your personnel. There are sometimes when you take over a program that you put your defense in, and even though the players don't fit the pegs don't fit the holes, you know, you've got to put them in it. I had to, at Kentucky, you know, you're pressing with Pelfrey, Farmer, and Feldhaus, and they didn't fit that style of play, but you had to put it in, so when you do come with your guys who can play that system, it's already in, and it's a learned experience. Now, with our guys this year, we couldn't really do that last year. We had to be very, very careful. It was all about just winning the game. Now this year, the strategy becomes different, and you're excited about that, because, you know, the other night, I never get upset about a missed shot. Never in my coaching career from day one did I ever concern myself with a missed shot. I am very concerned about the fact that Stephen Van Treese didn't switch out defensively at the right point, or Peyton check somebody out, okay? Or Kevin Ware, that's okay, I mentioned it fine, didn't do his job. We're getting old, we gotta watch ourselves. So, yeah, I love doing that. It's the fun part about the game on defense, and then I think that's why the shooting percentages have come down, because of the meticulous preparation by all teams. And then it's fun to offensively, you know, I know right now what he's going to do to us defensively. Now you got to spend a lot of time figuring out, okay, this is where you're going to be vulnerable. You got to attack. Make sure you do the right things from a spacing standpoint. All right.
Thanks, Coach.